The gods. Artemis. Artemis is the Olympian goddess of the hunt, the moon, and chastity. In time, she also became associated with childbirth and nature. No more than a few days old, she helped her mother Leto give birth to her twin brother Apollo. Artemis was very protective of her and her priestess's innocence. Consequently, she wasn't very nice when some of them weren't so careful. Even though Plato says that the name Artemis is related to her virginity and the ancient Greek word for unharmed or pure, we now know that its origin is undoubtedly different and possibly even Persian. However, scholars can't agree over its original meaning. Sculptors, poets, and painters, however, had no such problems. Artemis is almost universally depicted as a young, beautiful, and vigorous huntress carrying a quiver with arrows and holding a bow, typically wearing a short knee-high tunic and often accompanied by some animal, either a stag, a doe, or hunting dogs. As a moon goddess, she is sometimes represented wearing a long robe and a crescent moon crown. Artemis is the daughter of Zeus and Leto, herself a daughter of the Titans Chios and Phoebe. Angered by her husband's infidelity, the ever-jealous Hera cursed Leto to never give birth anywhere on solid earth and sent the mighty serpent Python to hunt her down wherever she fled. Zeus sent the south wind to carry her to the island of Delos, but Python swam after her. When she reached the island, Zeus unmoored it, and pushed by the south wind they moved faster than Python could swim. So on the island of Delos, Leto gave birth to Artemis while balancing herself on an olive branch. When Hera heard this, she prohibited her daughter Eileithyia, the goddess of childbirth, of further helping Leto. This postponed the birth of Apollo for 9 days, and who knows how much more time would have passed if the baby Artemis hadn't miraculously learned the art of midwifery and helped Leto finally deliver her brother. Zeus watched the twins on Earth from Olympus and thought that their faces shone brighter than all others, Apollo giving off a gold light and Artemis a silver light. And Zeus knew that they were godlings and belonged on Olympus with the gods. So on their 3rd birthday, he sent for them. He had Hephaestus make Apollo a golden bow with a quiver of arrows that never ran out, and a golden chariot pulled by golden horses. But he withheld Artemis gifts. Zeus preferred her and liked her to ask him for things. "So what gifts would you like, young maiden?" he said. "I want to be a maiden forever," she replied. "And I want lots of names, in case I get bored with one. I want a bow and arrow too, but silver not gold. And I want a tunic, short enough to run in, and 20 wood nymphs to hunt with me, and 50 sea nymphs to sing for me. And I need a pack of hounds, swift, ferocious ones that can outrun any deer." Zeus not only granted her all the things she asked for, but let her choose all the items herself so that they would have more meaning to her. Even her chastity was optional, which made her defend it more. She went to Hephaestus for her bow, who sent her to his Cyclopes at the bottom of the ocean, who were making a horse trough for Poseidon. They made her bow and never-emptying arrow quiver, and when their leader Brontes tried to sit her on his knee, she ripped a handful of hair from his chest and bid him good day. Then rounded up all the most beautiful sea nymphs, and left for the woods, where she selected the very best wood nymphs. Then she went to see Pan in the mountains of Arcadia, where she took 10 of his most ferocious dogs, and ordered them to bring back a pair of deer unharmed. She harnessed them to her silver chariot that Hephaestus had just finished making for her, and dashed off into the mountains. The first 4 times she fired her silver bow, she split a pine tree, then an olive tree. Then she killed a wild boar. The 4th arrow she fired into a city of unjust men, killing every single one before the arrow ceased its flight. And the people on earth, seeing her ride across the mountains, wielding her silver bow, with her maiden nymph following, gave her many epithets or names, such as Goddess of the Moon and the Maiden of the Silver Bow. Others called her Lady of the Wild Things, some called her the Huntress, and others simply the Maiden, therefore receiving her final gift, many names. Homer calls Artemis either the mistress of animals or she of the wild. As a huntress, she is also often referred to as arrow pouring or deer shooting. Just like her brother, she may be occasionally called bright or, even more, illustrative of her function as a moon goddess, torch bringer. Artemis and Apollo were very protective of their mother. When Niobe, a mother of 6 boys and as many girls, boasted that while Leto gave birth to only 2 gods, she had delivered a whole Olympus, so Apollo and Artemis killed all her children. Apollo took care of the male offspring and Artemis of Niobe's daughters. On another occasion, Tydeus tried to force himself upon Leto. Naturally, he was killed by Apollo's and Artemis's arrows. When Artemis was still a little maid, she asked from her father Zeus to keep her maidenhood forever. So, just like Athena and Hestia, she remained chaste for eternity. And she guarded this vow even more vigorously than them. For example, when the hunter Actaeon saw her bathing naked, she transformed him into a stag and set her hounds against him. Needless to say, Actaeon was ripped apart into many pieces. The less famous Saproites was just a boy when he had Actaeon's misfortune of accidentally seeing the goddess unclothed. So, he was punished less severely. Artemis transformed him into a girl. Others tried to rape Artemis. None of them lived to tell the tale. The most famous story involves Orion, a long-time hunting companion of hers. In fact, he may as well have been Artemis' only love interest. However, when he tried taking off Artemis' robe, the goddess killed him. Others say that Orion was actually killed by a scorpion sent by Gaia, or an Apollo's arrow. The gods merely tried to keep Artemis' virginity intact, the only time she couldn't. Artemis didn't only take care of her own purity, she also defended the innocence of her worshippers, and was merciless if any one of her priestesses ever lost it. For example, after her hunting attendant, Callisto, gave birth to Zeus' son Arcas, Artemis contrived with Hera to turn her into a bear. The plan was to have Arcas kill her. However, just as that was about to happen, Zeus placed both of them into the heavens as the constellations Ursa Major and Ursa Minor, the big and little bear. Just as she punished the transgressors of the sacred vow, Artemis rewarded those who kept it. So as to devote himself to a chaste life, Hippolytus scorned Aphrodite, after which the goddess of love made his stepmother fall in love with him. This set a chain of events which led to Hippolytus' death. However, Artemis called upon Asclepius and resurrected Hippolytus as a new man, who subsequently ruled in Italy under the name of Virbius. In the case of Iphigenia, Artemis substituted the girl with a deer just as Iphigenia was about to be sacrificed by her father, Agamemnon. Afterward, she took Iphigenia with her in Taurus and made her a priestess of her cult. Thanks for watching. Please remember to like, share and subscribe, and hit that notification bell for upcoming videos.